Hari Bol. He would wake up everyone, rise and rejoice to the name Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Actually, you know, let's go right to chapter 12 here. Chapter 12. We're going to talk about true and false devotees. How's that? It'd be interesting. Let's have a conversation about this.
The followers of Sri Advaita Prabhu were of two kinds. Some were real followers and others were false. Rejecting the false followers, I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Advaita Acharya's real followers, whose life and soul was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So this is Shuddha Bhakti teaching. This is why Prabhupada said, actually. So Prabhupada taught that Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Leela is postgraduate. It's not for the beginners and neophytes because most of them are false followers. That's the birds and the bees. So we're here to help those false followers too, you know. But first you have to admit that you're a false follower. Otherwise you won't listen here. If you think you're a real follower with no ecstatic devotion, and your life and soul is not Lord Chaitanya, you're in denial. Therefore I can't help you. Okay? That's what Jesus told the Pharisees. He said, you know, you don't admit your sin. The sin is not being an ecstatic follower of God. You don't have ecstasy and you don't like it. You know, so therefore the devotee can't really help you. You die in your sin, he called it. The sin is the coverings of material nature. Envy, jealousies, and competition with a higher mode. So neophytes have this often thing of, they're, in a sense, false followers because they don't follow the ecstatic devotees. Or if they're fortunate, they do for a while, but then they get turned. You'll see it later in this chapter. They get turned by the wrong opinions. They go like what Prabhupada says, actually, you know, don't go over there because you may get contaminated. They go over there and get contaminated. See? So they go to the false followers and get contaminated. So that's just how it is. People don't like this preaching, well, then stay out there with that. But if you really want Krishna, you can get Krishna here. We prove it. We prove it. We show it. You see it. You see exactly what it says, that in samsara prayers, all these things that you chant every day. So if after 40, 50 years as a guru or a follower, if you then, when you see it in reality, you still reject it, you are still foolish idiots. And we consider ourselves fools, but you guys are really stupid. Really stupid. I'm an avadut, man. I say, I don't think about whether I'm saying right or not. I just act. So that's why the name avadut is there. So if you're going to come here, you just be prepared. Expect the unexpected. Because I do. Oh, and so, the false followers. And you see, if you want to learn Shuddha Bhakti, you got to follow in the footsteps of Krishna Das Kaviraj. He says, I pay my respects to the real followers. See, the real followers whose life and soul is Lord Chaitanya. Well, who is Lord Chaitanya? What is his body? The body, the transcendental body of the Lord, is ecstasy. It's bliss. It's bliss up the yin-yang, man. It's tears. It's laughter. It's ecstatic gyrations. It's knowledge that you've never heard. What guru would dare to speak like this? It's stuff like that. That's a real follower, man. Are you ready for that? If not, go out into the false follower pile and go into the etiquettes and all this other stuff, you know, until you realize that the whole point of being a false follower means You're not following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. You know what? Here's the birds and the bees, man. You know what following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya is? That means accepting the path of ecstatic love. That's his quality. He came here to accept the path of ecstatic devotion. Devotees who cry in ecstatic love and tears and shaking and shimmering and loud roaring. Roaring. He came to accept that. He became like that. That's a real follower of Lord Chaitanya. Are you like that? No. Well, stick around. We'll make you lions. We'll make you part of our Lions Club. We'll make you can audition for our Lions Club. And then you just make your video on Facebook and show us 3 good roars and impress Dasu and Govinda and myself. And then we'll make you part of our club. The Real Followers Club. Hey, we uncloak the sin here. There's nowhere to run, and everything is. Most are false followers. Most are neophytes, following blind gurus and teachers. How do we know they're blind? Because the eye of devotion is not awoken, and their life and soul is not bliss, ecstasy. See? And the ability to leap tall buildings of Maya with a single bound. And to use X-ray vision and see right behind all the hypocrisy and the lies and the cheating. You got to have that kind of quality. You got to be Superman. You got to be just a man with the superpower backing you, man. Are you ready to climb out of that false follower mile? Yeah! Are you tired of being a false follower? Yeah! Are you tired of being a false guru? Yeah! Are you tired of being only a ritik? Yeah! Are you tired of being a guru with no devotion? Yeah! All right, now we can start our discourse. So, pay your respects and obeisances only to the real followers, like the Lord Krishnadas Kaviraj says. The Lord is actually, he said, don't think I wrote this book. Lord Chaitanya wrote it. He did. Yeah. So pay your respects to the real followers of the Lord. And then you'll get Shuddha Bhakti. And then you'll be out of this Maya forever. See? That's the real path. It's just paying respects to Shuddha Bhakti. Who is that? That's Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta, Bhakti Vinod. You pay your respects there. And anybody who actually does like they do. And you will know a self-effulgent acharya because no one can do like they did. No one. Because only Lord Chaitanya can take their place. And he was behind Prabhupada. He was behind Bhakti Siddhanta, behind Bhakti Vinod, and he's behind anyone that's a real self-effulgent acharya. It's always that way. Whoa! And it will always be that way. I'm glad I got my fan club here, man. Got two people here. They're my groupies, my fans. Freddie says, "Oh my God, these guys are really nuts." That's right. We're nuts for Krishna. And we got nuts, man. We got nuts. We can preach, and we don't care if Maya doesn't like it, man. We just blast her. Because we got potency, power. So have we milked that verse? I don't think so. See? So that is the secret of Shuddha Bhakti. You take association of Shuddha Bhaktas. And usually people can't recognize or they don't have the strength to do so. Therefore the Lord sends one. And whoever takes their association and shelter will get Shuddha Bhakti very quickly. Again. Like these poster children. Look at them, man. Don't they look cute? Pinch each other's cheek. There we go. Yeah, very good. Hey, we're here to make children here, you know. You must be born again and become like a little child and enter the kingdom of God. Yeah. All right, next verse.
Before I say the next verse, I'm going to tell you something.
Okay.
You know, this is this morning. The lesson is on fire. It's on fire. Just look at my eyes and see running down my cheeks and everything. Oh, you know, this is great. This is something I never got before. I get all the time now.
And never will.
I will. And get with my Gora Haridas. You know, always the chariot. And when he said all these people in this line coming down, he forgot to mention one person who is Gora Haridas, because no one's going to do this. He's empowered.
Prabhu.
Yeah.
Treasure house. Touchstone.
Yeah.
Lion.
Light.
Monkey dance.
Right. Now I'm going to read them. Which is it? The followers of Sri Advaita Prabhu were of two kinds. Some were real followers and the others were false. Rejecting the false followers, I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Advaita Acharya's real followers, whose life and soul was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
See, it's the real followers of the Acharya. This is how it works. It even was in Jesus' time when Jesus had real followers and there were false followers. See, and the real followers are the ecstatic ones. See, because Advaita Acharya represents the real Acharya. He was ecstatic. Even though Prabhupada didn't show ecstasy, he was an ecstatic devotee. We all know that, right? You know? Do we really know the God brothers were ecstatic, or any of them? Do we really know? I mean, we hear knowledge, we hear all the cloth talk. I mean, you know, come on, do we really know they were ecstatic? Huh? Look at their faces, man. Well, look at what Prabhupada said. Envy, jealousies, and all that. You think that's a sign of ecstasy? See, you got to know that the Acharya is always ecstatic, man, because they're fed by the ecstatic potency coming all the way through the line. They are the head of the parampara. So Advaita Acharya represents the bona fide Acharya, spiritual master. See? And so the real followers will be fed by that mercy, and that mercy is ecstatic devotion. That's the root from the real parampara grows. That expands the movement, otherwise there's no expansion. There's only maybe maintenance. People will just be Vaidhi Bhakti. You notice the gurus, they're maintaining the movement with what? Vaidhi Bhakti. Rules, regulations is rules, regulations. The next generation will rules, regulations, and the next generation will be what? Rules, regulation, rule. Maintenance. But what is an expansion is when the Lord sends a devotee and gives the order. Where else is there to go but the next stage that of Krishna consciousness? And what is that? Raganuga Bhakti, the awakening of spontaneous devotion. There is no other door than that. Otherwise, you go in these other doors that are not the right thing. And this is the problem. People are getting bored with only Vaidhi Bhakti. So what do? Okay, people are not getting shelter and all that. They hire Ghostbusters. Well, we're getting even ghosts. We can't even overcome ghosts on this, man. There's a person that have a ghost problem here. Believe it, right here in Mayapur, ghost problem attacking them. So they can't even get rid of ghosts. There's something wrong, huh? Oh, well, we can't do this. Look, our devotees are having problems. Let's get the psychology out now. Now we got to get psychologists involved who are just in the world, or psychology principle. We got to read books on psychology because people are not getting transcendental shelter. You think if you get the real shelter of Lord Chaitanya, you need a psychologist? No! You need New Age stuff. People are leaving the movement for the New Age. You know that? We got that Krishna Prem. He was born into, his father is devotee. He's a Guru Kuli, and he's out there in the New Age. I'm not saying this wrong. I'm just telling you what happens when a real devotee is not here preaching ecstatic devotion. You go elsewhere. Another lady comes, she listens to me also, and she goes to Christ because she couldn't find the Ras. After 20 years, her parents were also devotees. But she went to Jesus because there's a little more Ras in it. Because Vaidhi is not enough. You got to find the real followers of the Acharya. There might be only one, and I think there is in this world. Only one follower of Prabhupada. An ecstatic follower. You got to be ecstatic. If you're not a real follower. You're not the head of a disciplic line. No way, Jose.
Go to Haridas. Go to Haridas. Go to Haridas. Go to Haridas.
They like my preaching. That's awesome, man. Look at that, man. They got a whole bunch of people have the big armies shouting them on. I got two out here. They're shouting us on here, man. That's good. Oh, and these two groupies. That's all right. Two in our group. Meena says, I'm their guru. That means she recognized Prabhupada. He's come again. She knows her guru, man. If she heard from Prabhupada, and she did, then she'll recognize that we're his real son here. Not only me, but these guys too, and you and others who come and listen here. This is the next phase of Krishna consciousness. This is the next phase of building that building, to house the whole world. It's only one building. It's going to be real ecstatically ornamented with Krishna will be your ornament. We prove here we don't have big buildings, but we got Krishna is our ornament. It's our Krishna and Radha our enthusiasm. See? Therefore, that's why you think I'm enthused on my own? No! That's Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It's the increasing enthusiasm to punch away at the illusion. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Let's give some light to these guys. You deserve a little light, Joe. Hare Krishna. Woo! Are you excited? Yeah. Real followers of the Acharya, all glories to them. Listen to them, and you'll get Krishna. Even though they present their talk with dazzling entertainment, man. You got the popcorn. Get the popcorn out because you'll be biting your nails after this class, man. Hey, man, when I start reading the pranks of Krishna, man, watch out. Superpower comes from that.
All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Sri Advaita Prabhu. And all of them are glorious. I offer my respectful obeisances to the all-glorious Advaita Prabhu, who forms the second branch of the eternal Chaitanya tree, and to his followers who form his sub-branches. Sri Advaita. I offer my respectful obeisances to the all-glorious Advaita Prabhu, who forms the second branch of the eternal Chaitanya tree, and to his followers who form his sub-branches.
That's all right. Keep going.
Sri Advaita Prabhu was the second big branch of the tree. There are many sub-branches, but it is impossible to mention them all. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also the gardener, and as he poured the water of his mercy on the tree, all the branches and sub-branches grew day after day.
So that's how you know a real disciplic line is progressive. See, progress. You know, day after day, everybody can see now, if this is a real branch, which it is, people are growing day after day. Why? Being fed by the real mercy. It doesn't say what the real mercy is, but what is it really? It's always bhakti begets bhakti. One devotee with a honest relationship with the Lord is fed because that relationship is an ecstatic one. See? Full of bliss and full of transcendental knowledge. They make devotees who are ready to awaken. Some awaken quicker. So, if the real mercy is here, people, you can use your intelligence. If the real mercy is here, and I have to admit it, you look, this is not a blind following. All you out there, if the real mercy is here, we will be expanding and growing day by day. More fruits and more flowers of bhakti. More devotion, more bliss, more ecstasy, more revelation, more knowledge. Can you guys see it out there yet? No? Well, just keep looking out there. Because even glowworms, their eyes will go and get hot and burn away all these scales on their eyes. This is a real disciplic line. It's got to be these symptoms. Those who actually listen to a real devotee will start to grow. Krishna says, those kind of devotees who are fed by my ecstatic devotion, ecstatic love, and the real knowledge coming from that, are the root from which I grow in others. That Krishna is in everybody's heart, but dormant. But he loves conclusive preaching, which we do. And our proof is, look at these guys, they're awakening bhakti. And I guarantee you, anybody out there that listens with heart and soul, and look at, this is a milestone with Mary. She stood up and said, he's my guru too. When you come into that level, that mine, this is my guru, man. And I'm going to cross this ocean of Maya through my guru, man. Are going to be ecstatic birth of Krishna in you. You got to be like that. You know? You'll be fed by the mercy. That mercy is ecstatic devotion. Firm faith in Guru and Krishna. Well, it's fine to have firm faith in Prabhupada, but most of Prabhupada disciples need a little shiksha, maybe a lot of shiksha. Whatever it takes, but we'll get them into, if they come and listen here, I guarantee you they will get devotion to Krishna shortly. But if they don't, you won't. Because the book says so. It's through the action of the book Bhagavat and the living devotee Bhagavat absorbed in the mellows of devotion that those mellows are in your heart. That means if you've got devotional mellows, that means you got an awakened relationship with Krishna, and that means you know Krishna. Without devotion, without ecstatic love, you cannot know Krishna. You're ritvicking your way, you're You're just impressing neophytes who don't know anything. And you living gurus with no awakened devotion to Krishna, you're just bamboozling neophytes who don't know anything either. If that's good enough for you guys, well, go ahead and die without bhakti. But we'll be drinking this wonderful bhakti because we're conclusive. We know how things work and we believe it. I believe it. They believe it too. That's why they got bhakti. And you gurus out there don't. You just got your followers. That's nothing, man. Have you figured it out yet after 50 years? What, to have a bunch of neophytes with big problems that you can't get rid of, that you inherit? That's the big lesson for you. Or you Ritviks out there, all you do is criticize everybody all day, and you can't, and then you start criticizing here. And that's that's your real downfall, man. You criticize here like they're some mean Ritviks, man. Oh, so mean they carry over here. What good is that? Criticizing empowered devotees. You're so blind. Everybody is blind like that. See, whoever listens here, you get the real truth and that'll set you free. It'll set captives free. Captive by neophyte gurus who speculate, and also Ritviks who are often very angry, very hateful, and don't know Prabhupada at all. If they knew Prabhupada, they'd know that Prabhupada is working here. You want to be set free from that? Well, you listen here and you'll be free very quickly of all of that bewildering stuff out there. Thank you. You're welcome.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also the gardener, and he poured the water of his mercy on the tree. All the branches and sub-branches grew day after day. Just like Gaurahari says, once you get this, you grow exponentially. I remember so many years ago that I had this vivid dream of being shoved across the ocean by two porpoises on the rich arm onto the bank of this island out there, and actually it's growing. And since then I've grown, and I've got the mercy of the Lord at all the stages I've got. And eventually got me when I got to 69. They shoved me over across here to Gaurahari Das, and I should have come here when I was taken across the ocean by the porpoises, but I didn't know Gaurahari Das then. But now I know him. I know the place to be is here. Just look at my eyes; they're going again. You know. My eyes are going again, and I'm feeling wonderful, and my body's shaking, and oh yeah, it's great, it's superb. You know, I'm really enjoying this. Never enjoyed anything so much in my life, never. And to know that I'm on the cusp of doing something wonderful, helping Gaurahari out, you know, on his work is really. I'm proud. I feel proud. You know, you're not supposed to feel pride in Krishna consciousness, but transcendental pride's all right, and that's transcendental pride. So it's okay, and anything you do is all right if you do it in Raganuga Bhakti, because that's the way that it is. Ah! Oh, I feel great. I am great. I'm good, and I know it's very good. And I've got the whirling derbyshire around here on the back of me. Play this thing. Very, very good. So I'll read the next verse. The fruits of love of Godhead that grew on those branches of the Chaitanya tree were so large that they flooded the entire world with love of Krishna. Whoa!
No.
Whirling devish to counteract the Trinivata, to smash it, to whirl it away. So don't get whirled into the Trinivata, get whirled here in the ecstatic dance that we're doing all over the Dhams and all over the world. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
See, I always wondered about that verse. What does it mean, the fruits of love of God? Well, when the love of God keeps growing, man, you get more and more blissful. That bliss overwhelms the world, man. That ecstasy overwhelms the world. Isn't that world? Look at this. We got 8-10 people staying up all night. People getting overwhelmed with bliss and ecstasy and truth and the American way.
It's not the American way. It's the British way, kid. No, British way. As the trunk and branches were watered, the branches and sub-branches spread lavishly, and the tree grew full with fruits and flowers.
Yeah, you see the book coming to life here, man. The book is alive, man. Alive in a sangha, man. The branches and the sub-branches. Look at these guys, sub-branches. It's growing now. It's spreading all over the world. You know, Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta, they had a plan. That plan is, let's capture a lot of foolish fish in the net, man. And then we're going to force them at some point to drink all this bhakti. They just get them all in the net, in the Vaidhi thing. They're following all these rules and everything. And then we just love bomb them with Krishna bhakti, man. And we get in one place, in one big basket of Prabhupada and all of that and everything else. We just get one big basket, one big love bomb. It's a nuclear bomb, and they all get blasted with bhakti and go back to Godhead. Yeah, that's the plan, man. So get off your can and let's slam Maya.
At first, all the followers of Devotee shared a single opinion, but later they followed two different opinions, as ordained by providence.
See, two different opinions. Same thing with Bhaktisiddhanta. There are two different opinions. Let's appoint acharyas. Yes, let's rubber stamp them into acharyas. Let's get people to bow down to them. Right? Isn't that the same opinion that most of ISKCON and everybody else, Gaudiya Samhita? Let's get people to bow down to people who have not realized Krishna. Isn't that the truth? Am I lying?
No.
Have they realized Krishna?
No.
Thousands. Come on, man, wake up. That's the false followers, man. That's why there was one person with the right opinion, that was Prabhupada. No, you don't appoint an acharya, they're self-effulgent. Well, if Bhaktisiddhanta would have saw a self-effulgent acharya, he would have said something. And it was not time for Prabhupada. He had to do his thing. Okay? So, the two opinions. So the ones who, you notice, I say what Prabhupada says, you don't appoint acharyas. They're self-effulgent. They will arise at Krishna's will. I say what he says. But you know what? The others in the God brothers and even their nephews say something different. Oh, all those people that Prabhupada said none of them are qualified, they're all qualified now. Oh, they're all thunderbolts. And you guys are so stupid you believe it. You don't believe Prabhupada, even though you say, oh yeah, Prabhupada, we believe you. But you don't. You're hypocritical liars. You got to admit that. You say you believe Prabhupada, then you shouldn't be acknowledging them as super gurus like Prabhupada. Why? Because Prabhupada said so. Only an acharya knows. That's all. Not about criticism. It's about believing in the guru. Huh? Yeah. And you know, and that's why you look at Prabhupada's picture. You can ask Meena. She knows. You look at Prabhupada's picture and you see a different kind of devotee. An ecstatic one, a very rare one. You look at all the God brothers and there's not one that looks like Prabhupada. Even the ones who came after him. I mean, in the God brother line. Not one looks like that. Not one. But nobody sees that except a real follower of Prabhupada, who really loves Prabhupada. Prabhupada will reveal that bliss to that person. And then you'll see the difference between him and his God brothers. Otherwise you think, oh, I'm just going to follow the cloth. No, you got to follow the word of a devotee, a real devotee. Otherwise you'll follow the opinions of others who don't agree. They don't agree. That's what you become a false follower when you don't agree with a real acharya. Oh, I think they're also just like Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, no, they're not. Oh, no, I think after you're gone, Prabhupada, we can say whatever we want. And they do. And they do. And they are. And people, you're over there? Well, I ain't over there. Prabhupada said, no, actually, none are actually qualified. And it shows because they glorify what Prabhupada did not. That's why we do what we do, and we roll how we roll, and we have ecstatic bhakti keeping us going here, and they don't. Prabhupada had it because he had the real opinion. See? Isn't it? Read that again. I'll hold it like this.
At first, all the followers of Advaita Acharya share a single opinion. But later they follow two different opinions ordained by Providence. Just a minute. Next verse, please.
All right, go ahead.
Some of the disciples strictly accepted the orders of the Acharya, and others deviated, independently concocting their own opinions under the spell of daily Maya.
See? Their own opinions. That's how you know. And if you look in the word for word of this, you'll see the order is also interchangeable with, it says opinion. And Prabhupada used the word order because it's also important, and also the opinion is also very important. So we use the opinion too because it's very important to understand. If you accept Prabhupada's opinion, and then you'll get through it. If you don't, then the Shiksha Guru will come around again and give you another chance. Then if you don't know, if you don't accept my opinion here about this situation that Prabhupada said, then you'll accept that opinion, independently concocting. And you will die without this devotion. Because we got it, man. They don't. They are preaching, all of them, many lifetimes PREMA Bhakti. We got it, and we preach 8 months, 1 year, even 20 years for some are holding on, but they're going to get it. That's why we preach this, and they preach that, because they got the wrong opinion for Krishna Bhakti. Wrong in the sense is, hey, okay, that's fine. You're going to get to Godhead in some lifetimes, man. But hey, right is how to get back to Godhead in this life, and you listen here and you're going to get it. You listen, you come to the point of faith and belief, nista, and you're going to get ruchi up the yin-yang, man. You're going to laugh and cry just like this fool here. Just like, look at Lalita. Look at these guys. Tears are pouring out his eyes, man. Why? Because Krishna loves this preaching. And if you hate it out there, you are so sinful, man. That's honestly, I'm preaching to the super soul in the heart and making the Lord cry. If you hate this and you're a big guru and you think I'm speculating all that, that's your mind, man, and you're in Maya. You're in illusion. And this chastisement is your only hope, really. I say hope because if you don't believe this, you're going to die without bhakti. And just take your fantasy of all these followers, neophytes, all of them. And if they're lucky, they'll listen over here and get free of your idiocy.
This next verse confirms everything that Srila Gaura Haridas has said. The order of the spiritual master is the active principle in spiritual life. Anyone who disobeys the order of the spiritual master, I'll say again, anyone who disobeys the order of the spiritual master immediately becomes useless. There is no need to name those who are useless.
Okay, keep going with that.
I've mentioned them only to distinguish them from the useful devotees.
So, if Prabhupada says you don't appoint an acharya, they are self-effulgent. That is the order. This is a lie. People say they were appointed gurus and they fell on their faces. What How can you have faith in Prabhupada to think he would appoint false saviors? They lied to you, man. They speculated. They got in a meeting like they said, and let's have the same story. And they know they are liars and cheaters, and you're following them. You don't appoint an acharya. If a person sees that, well, you know, Prabhupada said, Gaur Govinda, you initiate. You got it. Why? Why Gaur Govinda? He had ecstatic devotion. We know it. And those who didn't have it were against him. It's always like that. They give these problems and they kill the prophets, and then they build a tomb after Gaur Govinda is so wonderful. But while he was here, they hated him. It is on record. And these are persons you're following. They hate ecstasy. They hate the ecstatic guru. They hate it. And you're following that, you idiots. They hate me, and they'll hate you. Look at already, Lalita crying tears and all that. And people, because these are nice people, but they got poisoned. They hate her because they believe in people that hate bhakti. They hate Prabhupada. All in the name of Prabhupada, but they have hate in their hearts. And then we get ecstatic devotees being born here. They hate them. This is in their hearts, man. This is not real Krishna consciousness. We're here to do something about that, man. And we got the power. They got the buildings, but we got Krishna, man. We're here to get that hate out of their hearts so they can get real bhakti, man. Hate is the aversion to God, and God is ecstatic, man. He's Satchit Ananda, full of ecstasy, full of bliss, and full of true knowledge. Everything you get in our Sangha is here. It's Krishna coming through. You're getting Krishna delivered on a silver platter. And it's going to take the hate out of people, man. It's got to come out. That's our sacrifice. Is we preach the truth. We preach ecstatic bhakti. We preach ecstatic truth. Transcendental knowledge coming from that. And it'll draw out the hate onto it. And we are braced for it. And then they will accept this bhakti. It's got to come out of them, man. So expect it. Expect to be people taking you off their Facebook list. They hate this. But that hate has to come out. They're poisoned by Kalya. They're drinking poison Harikatha, man. They're drinking, Kalya's in Vrindavan. They're drinking from a poisoned well there. People have the cloth and they're Radhe this and Radhe that, but they're fed poison. And therefore you stay morose. Our devotees are happy here. Become growing day by day. They're confused by Putana. Comes in, look at the cloth. I'm an advanced devotee, believe me. See, but I'm not. My heart's full of envy and jealousy, like Prabhupada said. Don't go there. You'll get contaminated, sucking on the poison nipple of Putana. She looks like a devotee, but she's not. You got to listen to the real devotees who are fed by real bhakti. When you do that, now you're going to get liberated from all of that. The captives will be set free when you listen to a real devotee preaching the real truth. There are people that are ready to listen, and we're preaching to them. The others, we're freeing. Get all that anger and hatred out of you, man. The others were ready to feel delighted by this preaching.
Paddy is mixed with straw at first, and one must fan it to separate the paddy from the straw. A big branch of Advaita Acharya was his son, Achyutananda. From the beginning of his life, he engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord of Chaitanya. When Achyutananda heard from his father that Keshav Bharati was the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was very unhappy. He told his father, "Your instructions that Keshava Bharata is the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who will spoil the entire country. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the spiritual master of the 14 worlds. You say that someone else is his spiritual master. This is not supported by any revealed scriptures.
See, so Achyutananda was a devotee of Krishna and Lord Chaitanya from the very beginning. See, he came into the family like that. See, and how do you know? He had ecstatic devotion because he had real transcendental knowledge. If you want to know if Gaurahari is a Sahaja or anybody here, if you want to know that, well, simple. They won't have transcendental knowledge. See, they'll be stupid fools making caricatures in their chanting. But if a person has real, genuine devotion, they will have the qualities of having real transcendental knowledge. And if you're not just an idiot or a foolish, contaminated follower of false devotees and hypocrites and liars caught up in that too, blind persons following blind persons, if you're ready to get out of that, you'll get some good sense when you hear from a devotee. See, you'll see that devotee has real transcendental knowledge, and Krishna will show you that. Wow, we've never heard knowledge like that. That's proof that they're not Sahaja. Otherwise, you'll have an empty head, like that. Most people can't see what is real devotional symptoms. They just can't recognize, but this you can understand. If they got true transcendental knowledge, that means they're fitting the Bhagavad Gita verse. Okay? To those who worship me with ecstatic devotion, ecstatic loving devotion, I give them the right understanding to find their way back home. You listen to those devotees, you'll also find your way back home. Otherwise not, because nobody's practically is qualified to worship the Lord with ecstatic loving devotion. You got to go to those who do. That's the real guru. And then they'll qualify you to worship the Lord with ecstatic loving devotion. Like these guys here already in 8 months. Qualified ecstatic loving devotion. Now they just water the creeper. They keep hearing and chanting, and they just grow day by day. Krishna only grows by this kind of bhakti.